Due by children, file 24059. All right, we're on record for our first regular review. The mother, Miss Faith Double, is out chatting with her attorney at this moment, but there are a couple of other parents and some updates, and we need to get started. So she'll be able to rejoin us as soon as she's done with that, and she's already started that. So hopefully we'll have her back soon. I have names of our participants.
Lee Heiss, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Ms. Saja Thomas, counsel for the department.
Chelsea Grant for the department. Alexis Stang, attorney for the respondent father, Austin Doobie.
Michael McFarland, represent the other father. Please introduce yourself.
Jeffrey Grayson.
Can the court hear that?
I did.
Thank you.
Okay, and I do know we have Ms. Ariel Berger and Faith Double chatting at the moment. They are both here. And I'll be rejoining us shortly. All right, Ms. Heiss, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. The court report is very thorough and gives us a lot of medical information, a lot of early on evaluations. I see this case as we've been familiar with these parents for a while through different cases, and it looks to me like with the department's eyes on the children, we're going to make progress and get some the littlest one caught up on her breathing issues. We're going to get JJ fixed by his counselor, who not only does IHT, but also sees him at Boys and Girls Club one-on-one. That therapist at Parkside indicated that we don't suspect physical abuse, but the bruising and the rough and tumble may need more supervision. So I think that's a different kind of a case than so that we can partner with the parents and make progress. The therapist indicates that the children are growing up in an environment that is hostile, which could have negative effects on the children. And this is an opportunity for Miss Double, who has so many strengths. And I look forward to watching her accept this extra help, extra eyes on to perfect what all the kids need. There are some reports that are some of the kids' needs, for example, for medication, with 4 kids and a job and everything that's going on, it must be hard. But with the support, we can make sure that JJ gets his ADHD medicine on time so that he doesn't disrupt Boys and Girls Club. Let me look here. So some of these outstanding referrals, just a minute here. I wanted to make a note of, okay. Especially Aurora's medical things, we need to make sure that mom has the support she needs. I'm hoping to have the family better organized by the time we're done with the case and supports in place. Possibly the domestic violence between both of the fathers maybe, and mother support is what my theme is. I observe the children, the 3 younger children at daycare, and they're very enmeshed in daycare. They're an important part of their friend groups. There was a period of time, this review period, where the kids were missing from daycare, which alerted the caseworker, and she got them right back into that. She worked with mom, who got the children right back into that structured environment where they're building relationships and they can have this consistent caregiving in a very the environment looks very respectful to children. Okay, so I did not visit JJ face to face, but I'm really looking forward to observing him with Chris especially. But I think this case is very hopeful that we can get where we're going. It's been a long time that we've had these loose ends, and I'm interested to see after Mr. Dubai's treatment, how much better he can become. He's on probation. He's doing what he needs to do. So many good strengths in this family, but altogether, it can be a mess sometimes because there just looks like there's so much to do. So I'm looking forward to the family getting better organized, which is crazy because Miss Faith is very on top of a lot of things. It's just that when she turns her backs, the kids fall off their bike and get hurt at soccer, and they rough and tumble, which is what started this case. Rough and tumble, and the kids get a bruise, and everybody needs to make sure that there's enough support in the family to reach all the goals. But I look forward to working as a cooperative team to get this family supported, and all the kids need supported. So that concludes my report.
Yeah. The record should reflect we have been rejoined by Ms. Double as well as Ms. Berger virtually, so welcome back. Ms. Thomas, who would you like to start?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm just considering our time. I would like to call parents first, with the understanding that I will keep questioning pretty brief, if that's agreeable to the other attorneys.
Yes.
No
Okay.
objection.
I'll ask Ms. Faith Double to be sworn in, please.
All right, Ms. Double, come on up to our witness.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Resist that, you're careful.
Good morning, Ms. Double. So I'm just calling parents first to allow them an opportunity to sort of share how they feel their last review period went, how they feel their progress in their case service plan has gone, and if there's still areas of need that the family has and you would like to work towards on the next review period.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it because I was actually just talking to my lawyer about that out in the hallway. So one of the reasons why the kids sat out of daycare for so long is because first Braxton was having problems with his asthma, and we were told by urgent care not to bring him back. And well, not permanently, obviously, but until his asthma got better. And that's when he went with my friend. And then they caught head lice. And so I had to take care of that before I could send them back to daycare. So them sitting out of daycare was not my fault to begin with, but I do want to, so there is, I have been giving my son his medicine the way he's supposed to. There was one time that his dad actually took his medicine up there because my car broke down and it was at my cousin's house and I had no way of going up there to give him his medicine. But I read through the whole entire court report, and I wanted to say that I disagree with a lot of the stuff actually that was put in there. Like, for instance, that I don't give my son his medicine the way he's supposed to and that it could disrupt his learning. I signed a paper with the school last year. The school has been giving him his medicine since last year. And so the school calls me whenever they get low on his pills, and I just take them more in, but nobody even asked me about that. Just so you're aware that I feel like that was somebody not doing their job properly, because there's no proof that I was not giving my son his medicine. And like I said, I signed a paper with the school last year where they dispersed both of his medications to him in the morning and in the afternoon.
So I just want to clarify, are you responding to a sentence that states this, and there's two sentences, Madeline reports ongoing concerns of the parents not meeting medical needs of the children. This includes treating the children's asthma and distributing medications appropriately as prescribed and following through on referral recommendations.
And I have told Madeline several times that we give him, he takes 2 different inhalers. I don't know the exact names of them. One starts with a B and the other one is just, I forgot what the other one's called. But the one that starts with a B is supposed to be given to him in the morning and at night. Me and Jeff give him both of his doses, and the albuterol is as needed. And so we give that to him as needed. But the one that starts with a B, me and Jeff take turn. Well, not like take turns, but we both give him the morning and the one he's supposed to go have before bedtime.
And you understand that Ms. Grant is simply reporting what was told to her, correct?
I just don't appreciate the fact that you guys are supposed to be helping us be a better family, but you guys are putting stuff that's slanderous in there because it's definitely not true. And then nobody even asked me, nobody even approached me to be like, hey, is this true or not? And I feel like as part of your guys' job, you should be doing that instead of putting stuff in your court report that is not true and is slander. It's slander. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But those are my kids. And like for you guys to put in a court report that we're not giving him their medicine the way they're supposed to, it really does hurt my feelings because I try really hard to be a good mother. And when you guys are putting stuff in the court report that is not true, really hurts my feelings.
Ms. Stubble, and I don't mean to just dispute that. I just am stating that the sentence indicates that that's the medical provider's concern.
And
that's
she has no proof of that either. I've told her repeatedly that he gets both of his doses and the albuterol as needed.
Okay.
And every time he's gotten antibiotics, we have given them all of their medicines like they're supposed to.
Okay. And I know that there's some concern about frustration for having to go through like the background checks for people who are providing care to the children.
Yes, I did ask Chelsea. I sent her a message and I don't feel like I was being mean at all or I was being like out there at all. I just simply stated that she's taking all of my support systems away from me. And that Leona, I don't know if you guys are aware, the one that she tried to say is not fit for my kids to watch. Leona has 50-50 of her own kids. So how could you guys deem her fit for her own kids, but tell me that she can't watch mine?
Sure. I think that's not a question your attorney could answer for you, okay?
And also I kind of felt like you guys were picking and choosing who you wanted to be in their lives because like you have one person that Chelsea is saying that my kids are safe to be around, even though her kids have been in and out of foster care. And it doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't. Okay. All right. And I think that those can be answered with like a family team meeting between Ms. Grant and if Ms. Berger can also join, that'd be a really good idea, I think. Otherwise, how do you feel like IHT is going and the in-home services that you're getting?
I love Chris and JJ absolutely loves Chris. I feel like he has definitely developed a bond with Chris and it's going good.
And you are still employed?
Yes, I probably put in about 50, 55, 60 hours a week.
Generally, the court report is pretty favorable that you're compliant with all of your elements of your case service plan. Do you feel that that part is accurate?
The case service plan?
Yes.
Yes. I just did not like the court report.
And as relates to contact with Mr. Juby, are you still able to not have contact with him? It seems that there's you're not allowed to have contact with Mr. Juby, is that correct?
Mr. Juby is not allowed to have contact with me.
Okay.
And there's nothing court reported saying that I cannot communicate with him.
Okay. And you're aware of the upcoming appointments for the psychological trauma assessments and for the kids. Are you aware of those appointments?
Yes, I got a planner actually, and I wrote every single appointment down in my planner. And I look at my planner every day when I wake up in the morning.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions at this time. Other attorneys might, okay? Thank you.
Questions, Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Stubble, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Okay. You had indicated that in the court report there was a reported incident of arguing at the pediatrician. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Can you explain that for the court, please?
That was another thing that I disagreed with. So Jeff had two of the kids at their pediatrician appointment. And, we were talking over the phone. I don't know if he had me on speakerphone or whatever, but we were talking over the phone. And I was actually working at the time the kids were supposed to be picked up from daycare. And, so he had already run over his appointment time, the appointment time for the kids by an hour. And we had figured that he would be done with the appointment, their appointments before it was time to, he should have been, technically, he should have been done with the appointments before 5, but the pediatrician was running behind apparently. But anyways, so we were debating, not really arguing, because every minute that is after 5, we have to pay $2 a minute for every minute after 5. And we have 3 kids that are enrolled in the daycare. So that's really like $6 a minute, every minute that we're late. So I was trying to tell him that he should explain to the pediatrician that he has to leave to go pick up the other kids, because in all reality, who can afford that?
Okay. So was he able to leave then and go get them?
Yes, he did explain to the pediatrician that he had to be at the daycare at 5 to go get the other kids. And he probably had to rush her a little bit, but we still got to the kids in time. But we weren't arguing. We were simply discussing who is gonna go pick up the kids, because like I said, we were working, and it's $2 a minute for every minute we're after 5.
Okay. And there was also mentioned in the court report an ASD evaluation for your son in Ann Arbor, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And can you explain to the court a little bit more about that, please?
Okay, so his pediatrician did send out a referral to DHS to have him tested. I took him into DHS like the pediatrician wanted me to. They sent me a letter stating that they could not offer services to him because they didn't feel like he needed them. And then she sent out a referral to a place in Ann Arbor to get him tested for autism. And when I called the place in Ann Arbor, they told me that they had years waiting list, years. And I went back to Dr. Madeline and I told Dr. Madeline what they had told me, and she replied to me that she is not surprised and that she would try to figure out something else. She never got back to me at all.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add today?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions for you, but some of the other attorneys might still, okay?
Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes. Talking to Mr. Patterson, isn't it true that you've had tubes put in your ears when you were younger, and you
Yep.
tend to project your voice loud, which might be misunderstood as argumentative, but it's just loud. Would that be accurate?
That is very accurate. I had tubes put in my ears when I was, and this, Chelsea says that I get loud sometimes. It's not really me getting loud. It's the fact that I did have tubes put in my ears when I was small, and I still can't hear right.
Thank you. And you know that if you can't hear us, you can just let everybody know.
Well, sometimes I do, and then sometimes Jeff will be like, really, you have to say the same thing 3 times? Yeah, you do, because I can't hear you.
Thank you very much. Nothing further.
Ms. Spencer?
I have nothing.
Where's our GA? Ms. Heiss?
No questions today. Thank you so much.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. We return to your seat.
Thank you.
Ms. Thomas, who would you like to hear from next?
Mr. Patterson, please.
Deputy, would you swear in Mr. Jeffrey Patterson, please?
Fine, look here, please, sir. Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Just step there.
Mr. Patterson, you heard the questions that I asked. Okay. Okay, and is there anything that you would like to state on your behalf as to how your portion of the case is going?
I'm just waiting for my assessments, for my psych eval and trauma assessment. We're just waiting for the dates so I could attend them. Other than that, it's just prepping and a lot of waiting.
Okay. And overall, your court report as relates to compliance with the case service plan is also pretty favorable. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Are there any concerns as relates to the contents of the court report that you would like to explain?
I don't think so.
And you're aware of the date and time for your psychological evaluation as it's scheduled?
Yeah.
And during this review period, you've been active with the IHT services?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you find those helpful for your family at this time?
Of course.
And is there anything you want to tell the court today?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. I have no questions. Well, no further questions. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes, you and I have had a discussion that we would like a copy of the trauma assessments on the kid and your psychological report as soon as they're completed, rather than waiting until the next review, so you can understand what's going on. Is that correct?
Yes.
You also heard Faith's testimony that you and her did not have an argument, just her talking loud. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Okay. As far as priorities, do you think you understand what you need to do in what order and that's being accomplished?
Of course.
Any concerns you might have?
No, maybe just that we possibly get it maybe a little bit more prioritized for the
So I will ask the worker, as you and I discussed, and maybe ask her the priority for you, okay? I have nothing further.
Ms. Spencer, any questions?
Nope, nothing. Thank you.
Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Heiss?
Mr. Patterson, it wasn't clear to me in the court report. It looks like you're working full-time, that's right?
yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what kind of work you do?
Work at Martin Rea, fast-paced assembly tables, clip cell with brake lines, fluid, and they do fuel and brake there.
Okay,
Yes.
and then do you and Miss Double have independent transportation? She has a car, you have a car?
Yes, we do. We have 2 cars. They're both in her name, but we share them.
Are your services for this case something you can accomplish without missing time from work?
Easily. I'll make
Very good.
time.
Nothing further.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Your next witness,
Mr. Austin Juby.
Mr. Dupuy.
Raise your right hand, please, sir. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
All right, help us. What is the correct pronunciation of your last name? Doobie, okay. Mr. Doobie, you've heard the other parents testify. Is there anything that you would like to state about your side of the case?
No.
Okay,
Just that I'm waiting for my psych eval on the 5th at 3 o'clock.
okay.
And then I got a call on CMH today to get the other stuff set up.
One of
Let me
the,
ask him to speak up just a bit. I have a fan above my head.
Did you hear, do you want him to repeat?
No, I could make it up.
Okay, thanks.
and you have indicated, at least per the court report, that you are or are going to be attending AA/NA meetings. Is that correct?
AA meetings.
Okay. Have you been able to maintain your sobriety since rehab and when you're discharged on June 26th?
Of course.
And do you realize that you have to give a copy of your AA or NA meeting logs to Ms. Grant?
Yeah, but I haven't been to any, so I haven't been able to get it. I don't know where they are around town here, and my home groups are all in Ann Arbor. I don't have transportation.
Okay. So a list of local groups may be helpful for you.
Yeah, I know there's one at the court, in the probation office downstairs. I just gotta go take a picture of it.
And currently, you are waiting for housing.
Yeah, transitional, but, if I can find my own place before that, I'm going with that.
And are you
Yes.
working at this time?
Yeah, through, Express Staffing and Tecumseh.
Have you participated in or engaged in any parenting time classes or parenting education classes? I'm sorry.
No, Chelsea told me she was gonna group that with my supervised visitation.
And as relates to like the individual therapy, is that something that you're is that what you're referring to by going to CMH?
Yeah, I'm gonna get individual therapy. Try to get back on my Abilify.
Okay. It looks per prior court orders, your parenting time was suspended back in October. Is that accurate?
Mhm.
And what is your position on parenting time right now? Is that something you're seeking?
I wish, yeah, of course, I miss my kids every day.
To the best of your understanding, what do you need to do in order to get parenting time back?
I don't know, you guys tell me what I need to do and then I do it. Just doing with my kids servicemen, tells me to do. If I had it my way, I'd go see my kids right now.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell the court?
Not that it hasn't already been said.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Austin, did you remind me what happened with your criminal charges? You're on probation? And when did you enter a plea and start your probation?
I entered a plea last September because they weren't gonna let me out of jail unless I did. So I took a plea of aggravated assault and a year probation, $1,400 fines.
But you were in jail at the time this was filed in April, no? Is that not right?
Oh, no, that's a different one. That's with a
Okay.
whole other prison. That's with Dakota,
Okay, so you're on probation you're still on probation for the one you just talked about, though. Is that right? Because it would have been,
yeah, they
yeah,
extended my original probation, yeah.
all right. And then you had some fines. Is that through Lenawee County, the aggravated
Yes.
assault one?
Yes, that's it.
That's, got it, all right. What are the other terms of your probation? You drug testing, counseling?
Yeah, I drug tested. I got a drug test tomorrow.
Who's your probation officer now?
Liz Westgate.
All right, does Liz know to release like your drug test results and some of those updates to the caseworker?
I think she does. Okay, yeah.
Next time you meet with Liz, will you let her know to talk with Ms. Grant or sign whatever releases you need to?
Okay.
That way you don't have to test it 3 different places.
Okay, it doesn't matter to me.
Good.
Yeah, I could do
All right, what other services are required for you on your probation?
that. Services, anger management, which I can do online. It's an 8-hour class.
Have you started that one yet?
Yes, bits and pieces, but I haven't been through the whole 8 hours yet.
All right. Anything else?
No.
And then so you said there was another case? What's the other one?
Okay, so there's an aggravated assault case from last year.
Okay.
And then there is a domestic violence case from this year.
So that's where you were. Did that new charge a violation for you when you're probation?
Yeah, it was a violation, but they gave me 90 days suspended. So I could go to rehab, and then I just.
Is the new domestic violence charge been resolved?
Mm, No,
When's your next court date?
August 7th.
Thank you. What does that set for?
I'm not sure what time.
Does it pretrial sound right?
Oh, I think it's an arraignment.
Arraignment?
I don't think it's a pretrial yet.
All right. Okay, you can keep Ms. Grant up to date on that, please. All right, other questions for this witness? Ms. Spencer, would you like to start?
Just briefly, Austin, in the court report, it stated that the caseworker tried to contact you on 7/15 and 7/16 and hadn't heard back from you.
I have a call log on my phone where I called her back.
Okay.
She didn't answer, and then I never tried to call back again, and I never received a call back, but I did end up seeing her the other day. She came out to the house and saying. she's
Okay.
somewhere.
Is there anything else you want to add?
No, other than the reason I didn't report the larceny charge is because I heard about it 2 weeks before I even got out of rehab. So it's not like I could just pick up a phone and be like, hey, this happened.
Okay.
But I should have reported it when I got out, but I wasn't thinking about all that.
Okay. Nothing further. Thank you.
What's the larceny charge?
It's I stole some money, like $300.
Are you on probation for that?
No.
Oh,
No, I haven't even been in court for that.
okay. Well, then don't talk about it on the record.
Well, I already admitted it to a detective. And they got me on recording, so they said they could have me out with like a payment plan.
All right, so that one's pending too? Do you know
Yeah.
when your next court date is for that?
No, I have no idea. I haven't heard nothing about it.
Okay. Are there any other ones out there?
No, that's it.
Okay, all right.
It's a handful of misdemeanors.
Okay. Mr. McFarland, any questions?
None.
Ms. Berger?
No, you're good, thank you.
Ms. Heiss?
Just briefly, Mr. Doobie, do you
Yes.
get the court reports before court?
Yes.
Okay, I was reading the one for today and it said that you can't live with your mother because some kids live there. Is that right?
Well, yeah, because the kids go out there, yeah.
Oh,
Like my kids
the-
go out there.
These kids go to your mom's, so that's why you can't live there?
Yeah.
They're not placed with her though. They're placed with their own mother, right?
Yeah.
What is your sobriety date?
May 23rd.
Don't we have a drug screen after that? Just looking
Um,
here.
Yeah, pretty sure
Anyway.
plenty.
I mean, a positive one for, I've got here, when you say a clean screen, do you mean THC is a clean screen?
Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
There's no
All right,
method.
Okay, got it. And don't we have a screen? Oh, May 23rd. All right, so May 23rd is your sobriety date. You are employed full-time?
Yes.
And how do you transport? Do you drive yourself?
I use my Lamborghinis. I walk.
Oh, I thought you said Lamborghini and I thought, wait. Would you say that the children's mom, Malachi and Braxton's mom, is mostly in charge of their medical, their daycare decisions and that kind of stuff, or do you participate equally?
She's in charge of all that stuff.
Okay, we're gonna have some reports done on your two boys and I hope you'll take time to read them.
I will.
Will you look? Okay, and then you know that Malachi is being treated for speech, right?
Yes.
The
He's been
last
in
time
speech-
you, go ahead.
Sorry. I was saying he's been in speech therapy for a long time.
Okay, so you're aware of that. The case where you have a provision where you can have no contact with Miss Double. Which case is that? Is it a probation case or a bond?
That is the aggravated assault case, the probation case.
So she has no duty to not contact you, but you have a duty to not contact her, right?
Yes,
So this court report is talking about communication between you two. Is this something we should work on if you need contact for the benefit of the kids?
absolutely.
Which probation officer is in charge of that? No contact.
Liz Westgate.
Have you been violated for contact with Faith?
Yeah, but they gave me 90 days suspended.
All right. Okay, nothing further. Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. We return to your seat. Any other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
Ms. Grant, Your Honor.
Ms. Grant, come on up.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Good morning, Ms. Grant. Good morning. As relates to your court report with you've included several attachments, thank you for being thorough. We've heard testimony from the parents, but from your perspective, are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to this report?
The one modification I would make is where I had written that Austin was attending Packard Health and his outpatient treatment through New Vision. He did not report to any of that. Did move back to Lenawee County. I did have contact with him last week where I encouraged him to call and get an assessment through CNH or anything like that because his Medicaid is still active, so that way he can get in services here and get a referral to one of the facilities around here to start his outpatient.
Otherwise, everything else remains the same?
Yes.
Okay. And the children are placed with their parents other than Mr. Dubie's children who are not having parenting time right now, correct?
Correct.
What is the risk of harm with the court which released jurisdiction today?
I think at this time, the risk of harm would be that I'd want to continue to provide the support and the follow through for the family. I think that the family is kind of, I should say specifically, Faith and Jeff are kind of doing things on their own, just need a little bit of direction. They've been cooperative, doing everything I've asked them to do. I think it's just really putting that support so that Faith does not continue to have CPS in her life as she has had multiple times for multiple years and just wants to be a mom. And I think at this point we owe her that due diligence to continue that support to put her and Jeff and even Austin here where they need to be.
Part of the conditions that caused the court to take jurisdiction were in part generalized parenting skills, correct?
Correct. I think there was some medical concerns. There was some improper supervision concerns.
Okay. And no parenting classes directed at that have started yet, is that correct?
That's correct. So the family right now is working with IHT for the dynamics of the home. And when it comes with their communications and working with their children specifically in their home.
And so an element of the parenting education is coming through IHT.
Correct.
Okay. And it also seems by the report that there's sort of this wait and see from the trauma assessments and psychologicals, what more can be offered to the family to ensure that long-term stability. Is that accurate?
Yes, I think so.
I'll rephrase it. So it seems that there's also this, the department's also sort of waiting on the trauma assessments and the psychologicals to see what other services may be needed to ensure the family's long-term stability.
Correct. So there seems to be a lot of discrepancies. So you have Faith and Jeff, who in their home specifically do not believe that there's any.
Can you speak up a little?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
There's a lot of discrepancies. So you have inside the home, when you talk to Faith and Jeff, like they believe they just have normal arguments. When you're looking at outside perspectives, service providers, family, fictive kin, numerous individuals, it seems a little more hostile than that. And then you have the kids where some providers are saying that they have no developmental concerns, but then we have the medical provider who's having multiple concerns for the kiddos. So I think the best direction at this point is to have the psychological, have the CTACs, and kind of base conclusively off of those thorough and complete reports that takes any and everybody into account and really determines what specifically needs to be worked on.
And at this time, your report is asking that Mr. DeBeaver be permitted to attend the trauma assessment for the bonding component with his children. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And is that something that you're still recommending?
I am. I'd like to see his behavior towards his children, his parenting or lack of parenting skills towards his children. I still maintain concern over his drug usage. Even though he is reporting to probation weekly, he is very much aware that it is every Wednesday. They are screening him here at the facility instead of on Colors due to the fact that he did not have the $20 that Colors requires. So he's being tested specifically here. His drug of choice, we are aware that doesn't always stay in system for a long time. And there's been a lot of concerns that he is still using outside of that respective Wednesday testing.
Okay. And when this, I know that there was a custody order that suspended his parenting time prior to our involvement, but this court's orders supersede those. And at this time, is there a recommendation for parenting time to change, or are you still recommending it to be suspended?
I would like to see the bonding reports from there, and based upon what those recommendations are, I would ask that we would have the discretion to offer him supervised parenting with a provider, rather that is Ms. Edwards or therapeutic, based upon whatever the bonding assessment recommendations are.
Is there anything else you'd like to highlight for the court's attention today?
I don't think so.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions, and with that, I would move to admit the court report.
Objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you. The court report as well as the exhibits are received. Cross-examination, Ms. Berger,
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. McFarland.
You heard my client would like some instruction as far as prioritization. Can you maybe tell him where he should prioritize and maybe why?
Yep, so right now we're gonna wait for the psychological and the CTACs. The CTACs actually, I believe, start in 2 days. So I think his kiddos go first. So that would be a place for him to start. And then from there, we are gonna do a family team meeting with everybody. The problem is I was on vacation. There was another provider that was on vacation. So it's been hard to get everybody together. I know that me, Faith, and Jeff had one, but I think it would be important to have all of the providers together, and that way they feel like they're on the same page as well. And we're gonna go from there. I am also trying to touch base with the medical provider, as she has also been on vacation, and it's been touch and go with trying to get a hold of her of what has and hasn't been completed for all of the medical concerns that she has to be addressed.
So it sounds like the prioritization will occur at that family team meeting. Do I hear you correctly?
Yeah.
Lastly, be possible for you to send to my client and to all counsel a copy of the trauma assessments and my client's psychological as soon as you receive the reports, rather than waiting for the next review.
Yeah, I typically do that. I typically go over them with my clients. I'm not sure if other people do not do that, but I do typically, as soon as I receive them, go over them with my clients.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Ms. Spencer.
Yes, just briefly. You stated that you had a family team meeting previously with you and the other two parents, but not Austin. Why was Austin not at that?
I did have one with Austin. It was a few days later. They do have a no contact order, so I was not going to violate that by putting them all together.
Okay, and then I guess what harm or risk of harm is the department specifically concerned about with my client having supervised visits? If those were supervised, I guess what risk of harm is there to be concerned about?
So when the petition was first entered into the court, I guess we should say, the concerns in there were that his parenting time was suspended and that he was exhibiting he was still watching the children and exhibiting inappropriate discipline that was causing marks and bruises to them. According to what should have been accurate and then what was happening, he may not have been having contact with his children since back in October, but we know that to be inaccurate, as he admitted that he had seen them since that time. But the kids have not seen him. So I'd like to make sure that there's a bond and there's no adverse reactions to the kiddos when they see Austin for that first time.
Okay, and would you agree that there may actually be an adverse reaction, or it could appear that that bond might not be as strong due to the fact that he hasn't been able to see
Sure.
them?
Sure. And that's something I'd like to address and work forward moving with the bonding assessment.
Okay, so is it accurate then to state the only thing that needs to be done on Austin's end, at least, for him to be able to start that supervised contact is attending that bonding and trauma assessment with his children?
That, and I'd also like to see him follow through on his recommendations from his substance abuse. The recommendations were to finish without, continue with outpatient, follow through those things, and maintain stability in that.
Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Ms. Heiss,
No questions, thank you.
any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your testimony. May return to your seat. Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, witness testimony today, Mr. McFarland?
Nothing further.
Spencer?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Ms. Berger?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Heiss?
No witnesses today, thank you.
Closing comments?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, it seems that Ms. Double and Mr. Patterson are participating in services as needed and are continuing to be cooperative with the department. And Mr. Juby is at least starting some of those services, as well as completed rehab, seems to be interested in going to CMH for further assessments. As relates to parenting time for Mr. Juby, we are asking the court to continue the suspension of parenting time, just pending the trauma assessments, and then also more demonstrated sobriety and engagement in those services that we tend to see that demonstrate a commitment to sobriety, such as engagement with AA and NA. The order from the custody matter is dated for October 10th of 2023, and that was attached to the original petition. The finding states that father failed to appear for either that hearing or the one prior, demonstrating a lack of interest in both his children and these proceedings. And that is why the court continued to spend parenting time. I generally, when you look at the risk of harm for parenting time, it's not just physical, but also emotional and mental well-being. I think that the inconsistency poses that psychological harm that we want to prevent at this time. And so just getting dad to a little more stable and consistent with services and participation, seeing the baseline of their attachment and how to move forward, I think will help us develop a plan to progress towards those supervised visits. With that, we would just ask for a standard 90-day review. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Spencer, let's go to you next. Comments?
Yes, we would be requesting that Austin be able to have supervised visits with his children starting as soon as possible, preferably before that trauma assessment actually occurs in August. He has shown that he has been sober for the last 2 months based on his drug tests. He has been in inpatient treatment since then. He testified today that he does wish to see his children as soon as possible. Regarding the prior no contact order that was entered in October that was just discussed, at that point in time, it seems like Austin probably was not sober and was still struggling with the problems that brought this case about. But like I said, since May, he has been sober according to his drug tests. And if the visits were supervised and anything inappropriate even started to occur, they could be immediately ended. So we don't believe there would be any risk of harm with starting those supervised visits prior to the August assessment.
Has your client seen his children despite the no visits? All right, comments, Mr. McFarland?
I think my client's concerns have been addressed through testimony, nothing further.
Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. We are asking also for another review period to allow case plan services to be continued and hopefully completed. But I think my client testified fairly well in relation to the updates that she would like to give in relation to the court report and the service plan. So at this time, we are just asking for one more review period and hopefully time to complete these service plans. Thank you.
All right, well, the court finds all interested parties for given notice for today's first regular review hearing. There were definitely a lot of, exhibits and the report was very thorough. So thank you, Ms. Grant, for all your work. I know this is a fast moving case with obviously 3 different parents and 2 sets of children and lots of concerns. So good work, all of you, in undertaking some of the challenges. Mr. Juby got to rehab. That's good news. Ms. Double's doing her best to maintain things and to stay in communication with everybody. Mr. Patterson, the same. So that's good. That's good progress. I can't wait to see what happens in the next report period. I have received some of the indications that Native American heritage is not applicable in this case with regard to the exhibits that were filed today. So you don't have to worry about that, really, that piece anymore. The children are placed with Jeff Patterson and Faith Double. That is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances that allows them to benefit from services like in-home therapy, which involves both parents and children in the context of the home. So that's a great program. I look forward to the findings on the psychologicals and additional referrals based on that, as well as the trauma assessments. On the request by Mr. Juby for supervised parenting time, I will ask you, I think the trauma assessments are coming up pretty quickly. So we'll ask you to wait until that is completed. But after that piece, I would expect the department to work in some supervised visits for Mr. Juby based on the recommendations and the structure that hopefully will be something the trauma assessor can speak to. So if you could make sure, Ms. Grant, that you reach out, and when Mr. Juby's turn is up to talk about his bond and all of those things, please let them know that we're looking for a recommendation to transition him into some supervised parenting time. There is, of course, the program with Renee Moore as well, the reintroductory program. But I do think it's important to have him engaged with the CMA services. So that's another piece, Mr. Juby, that we're going to expect you to take up and accomplish in order to make sure that parenting time is safe. Okay. So once those things are in place, we'll trust you to implement some supervised parenting time. Thank you, Ms. Grant. All right. We'll just continue monitoring services and supporting the family in the next report period. I would like to offer to you October 7th at 11 a.m. For our next review. If you can check your calendars, October 7th at 11 a.m.
Good for me.
Good for myself and my client.
It's up in the air, Your Honor, but I can put it on my calendar, and if I'm not available, I'll find coverage.
Thank you. All right.
We're good on our end.
Great. Very good. All right. So we'll see you all